Okay, so I'm going to take it back to the beginning because I switched from, I was about to go to like UCLA for psychology. I did the whole like community college route. And I know. So I saw that you graduated from Dartmouth with a degree in drama and psychology. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So my question for you is, how do you find psychology and what you learned there and performing go hand in hand?
Ooh, we're starting off with such a deep.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm an old fart.
Deep thoughts.
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, I'm still so interested in psychology that it's still like, you know, I want like another life where I could go be a psychologist.
Yes.
But I guess it's just, you know, the very basic answer that probably anyone could figure out. I'm not saying anything really inventive here, but just, you know, it's just all around human behavior. And like, you know, a lot of comedy, of course, is like you're acting one way, but inside the person is actually thinking something else. And that's what kind of makes it funny. So, you know, that's like all of psychology. It's like what fronts are you putting up, or what's your history? Like I like just figuring people out and all that. So that's kind of the same sort of field, I guess.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think acting, there's a lot of studying. I saw something with Uta Hagen recently, and she's like, we're working all the time. If you burn yourself, how long did it take to react to the burn? What is this? How are we feeling about that? I think psychology is very important in acting because we have to get in touch with what we're feeling, what we're knowing, how it affects other people, to read what's going on. Because a lot of times people will say, yeah, I'd love to. And you're like, wait a minute, you looked up and right. And I'm guessing that maybe you're not. And so those little subtleties that we can bring as an actor are important, you know?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, to me, like the psychology of drama is easier because it's like we know what makes us cry, right? But the psychology of comedy to me is such like a enigma because it's like what we don't necessarily know, like something that makes us laugh one moment might not make us laugh again.
I love you, Jen Stone. I don't know if drama is easier. I think it's very hard to do both, but sometimes people are holding back and they can't access that drama inside of their bodies.
That's where you just got to let it rip, baby.
But that's awesome that you did that. I think that everybody, I mean, regardless of being an actor or not, you know, knowing the human experience, I think is good for communication.
It's part of being alive. And you were part of Chicago's famous Second City, which Kate was in kind of the Chicago comedy scene as well. Kate Flannery played my mom.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite memories from Second City?
Oh my gosh.
And how did it start? How did you get in there? Do you have to audition like Saturday Night Live to get into it?
Yeah, so I had done improv in college and I just wanted to try. I knew like I wanted to at least know I had tried to do the comedy thing before I went off and became a therapist in the suburbs of Boston. So I wanted to, but I wasn't this kid who was like, I'm going to make it. You know, I wasn't like, sorry, my son just walked in. Okay, sorry, I have to wait till he...
No, you're fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay, so... yeah, I wasn't one of these kids who was like, you know, Hollywood or bust. So it was just like, I wanted to like, go out and try it. So I went to Second City because our improv group had gone out there for a little field trip during the summer to like check out Chicago. And then I got there and you auditioned for classes at Second City. And it was myself and this woman that was in my improv group. And we auditioned for classes. And she got in and I did. And I was told like, but everyone was told like, oh, classes, you'll get in. Like, that's nothing. And then I didn't get into the classes. I was like, oh my God, what have I done? But then eventually, like, I got into the class and then everything took like, you know, you guys know how it is with the acting world. It always takes like 10 strikes and then you get it, whatever. But then I was in the classes and then you work your way up to the little training center and then you audition for a touring company. And then eventually I got in the touring company and then eventually get on the main stage. So that's how that happened.
But isn't it nice to have some rejection to make you work harder? What if you went right to the main stage? You don't appreciate it as much, maybe.
And also, like, I mean, you need the stage, you need the experience, you need the stage time. Like, even people that get on SNL really early when they're really young and they haven't had the writing experience, like, that's a whole learning curve. I mean, it's a learning curve anyway, but it's, you know, you need all that time. But yeah. But something in you has to know, like, okay, keep going. Like, that's the weird part of it. It's like, when do you listen to the keep going voice? And when do you listen to the outside, all the no's that are coming your way? And that's like that balance that I still don't understand. And I've been in this business. I still don't get it. Baby. I still don't get how you keep up. You're like, I got this. And then, you know, when you're getting, you know, nothing, whatever. But but yeah, but Second City, it was so fun because all these people back then, it was like the place to go for comedy. I mean, it still is, but like now there's a scene in New York a little bit more. And of course, there's the Groundlings in LA. But it was all these people from all over that just had moved there to try this. So it was so, I mean, I was there with so many fun people. There's like the famous ones and the ones that aren't so famous, but everyone was just in this thing together. And then you would do your improv stuff together, your shows, and then you would all hang out together too. Yeah. So it was like this giant, 20-something group of crazy people hanging out.
It's so fun. Were your mom and dad, was there comedy at the house when you were growing up?
Yeah, so my dad was very, very funny. He was not in the biz. He was a radiologist, actually. But he had done community theater. He had done plays in college and stuff like that. And he was just a very funny person. So I think we kind of grew up with this sort of almost like training in the house, And, my parents both were into, whatever, SNL and like Carol Burnett. Like, I just remember seeing Laugh-In when I was really little. So it was in the house floating around,
With Ruth Buzzy, who was a family friend, and
Lily Tomlin.
Yes.
Oh my God, Lily Tomlin.
Genius, that kind of was a little bit of like Saturday Night Live before Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
Sketch stuff.
Yeah.
That is very interesting. I had a similar thing growing up with both my parents were, very much in the business, and, at the dinner table was, who can make me cry? Who can make me laugh? And, it just was, we were kind of on, and I didn't know the difference, it just was what was happening,
Yeah. And so did you guys, because I was doing a little research on you, because I love a little school. I love a little homework. I
don't do any research. Yeah.
It's probably.
It's good.
Yeah. Okay. So I read that you and Tina Fey had Dratch and Fey. Did that? I'm guessing that came from Second City.
Yeah. So Tina and I were in the same cast for 2 shows, 2 reviews, and then she got hired to be a writer for SNL. And then by this time I had left Second City, and I had auditioned for SNL and I didn't get it the first time. Then I left Second City and wasn't really doing it. I tried LA and nothing was really happening.
Yeah.
And then Tina was writing, and I think she was kind of missing performing. So we decided to do this 2-person show that we did in Chicago one summer. And it was just 2-person sketch show. But the way that shows develop at Second City is you try things out in front of the audience, like night after night, and you kind of hone them and cut this and add that. Yeah. But Tina and I did this, we just like wrote it all. I mean, some of it was developed at improv, but we just had our opening night and we had no idea how it was going to go. But it went really well. It was really fun. And so then we ended up doing it in New York. And anyway, then I got to audition again for SNL, and Tina got to be moved up to do Weekend Update as well as be the writer and everything. So.
Well, what was your SNL? I mean, you opened the door. What was your SNL audition? Because I hear what the rumor is that they're not allowed to laugh, which I've heard mixed things. I've heard sometimes they laugh and sometimes they do whatever.
And you're supposed to pick 3 different
impressions,
things,
right? Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, the kind of guideline, I don't know how it is now because this was years ago, but the kind of guideline they gave us is like 3 characters, 3 impressions, But I guess if you're really good at impressions, you might do more, you kind of create your own audition sort of. So yeah, you just come in with your characters and your little bits, but you walk on. You're auditioning on the stage. Like, I don't think I even realized it in the moment, but you're on the stage where the host comes out to the monologue.
Oh,
I don't think it even clicked with me till afterwards.
It's probably better it didn't.
Yeah, but you're just kind of warned like they might not laugh. I don't really know who. That's just the scuttlebutt. Like, they might not laugh, so don't. But I don't think they're told they can't laugh. I think but. I was at the end of the day, and there was this guy that I'm still friends with, actually, who worked in the office, and he was standing in the back. He has a really loud laugh, and he was standing there going, ah! And I was, thank you, whoever you are.
Yeah, you're like,
so that was lucky. But yeah, I didn't get it that year, and then they said like, okay, maybe next year, because it's always like, who are they looking for? And
it's casting in general, right? We're filling slots. Yeah. We're filling. I had an acting teacher once tell me of like, it doesn't mean you're not a good chair. Like, you just have to be the right chair for the kitchen table they're trying to fill. Like, and I just was like, I always think I'm just not the right chair. Okay.